Okay, so welcome and wonderful good morning to everyone. It is Sunday, and we all talk about Sunday brunch. We love the lazy Sunday, and in your brunch, when you have such amazing people joining you, I think I'm feeling especially privileged. So, welcome, Smita, Priyanka, Ekta, Harsha, and Sabha. On behalf of BIMTech, I'm really honored to be, having a brunch with you. And this brunch, this platter is going to be beautifully, filled with lots of your memories of the campus and then onward journey and those special moments which you'd like to share with us. And to tell you that, we have nearly 40 people in this brunch meeting with all of you. So this virtual happy hour, I think we have a wonderful set of people waiting to talk to you. To begin with, I happened to read a poem, and I just thought that it's not written by me. I sourced it from internet where there's beautiful writing out there. I found that this really said the entire essence is there of why we are here together. And the title of the poem is A Woman's Worth. A woman's beauty is not only in the glow of her skin, but the depth of her eyes and the warmth of her heart. A woman's strength is not only in the bow of her back, but the magnitude of her tears and the softness of her words. A woman's wisdom is not only in the value of her words, but the knowledge of when to hold them and the journey she takes to learn them. A woman's courage is not only in her determination to fight, but her willingness to walk away and confidence to say no. A woman's grace is not only in the way she dances through her day, but in the love notes she leaves and the wonderful meals she prepares. A woman's love is not only in the kisses she gives, but in the sacrifices she makes and the moments given to you alone. A woman's worth is not only in the things she does and who she truly is and who she helps you become. This is a beautiful poem, A Woman's Heart and Soul. I love this, and it's written by Mary Costanza. And I think what is there in the last line is why we are here, who she helps you become. So thank you once again to this beautiful set of trailblazing alumna that we are going to meet today, and I'll begin with each one of you sharing very briefly about you, your batch, and then we begin with the later activities. By then, I hope the director will join us as well. Yeah. So let's start with Smita.
Thank you, Professor Saloni, and very good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure, to be here again and connect with my alma mater. So I'm Dr. Smita Kashi Ramka, and presently I am Associate Professor at Department of Management Studies. A very good morning, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Carry on, please carry on. Namaste. Please carry on.
Sure, sir. So I'm an associate professor at the Department of Management Studies, IIT Delhi, and I passed out in 2004, specializing in finance from BIMTech.
Wow. Welcome, Smita. And as I said, a person who is into academics will let us know how this entire education, formal education, business education has shaped her academic life as well. So over to you, Ekta, the prolific author amongst us. I know she's a fitness expert as well, so mental and physical and emotional, every which way, I think writing makes you really strong. So Ekta, let us know about you quickly.
Thank you, Saloni. Namaskar, sir.
Namaste.
It's an honor to be here, and I'm so glad to have this platform to share a few moments with you all. I'm from the 93-95 batch, the first 2-year full-time batch of BIMTech, which was in the basement in Pushp Vihar, and we've got absolutely fantastic memories, and I think that's where my life started taking the turns and bends, and and this is where I've landed now. So I've had a career basically in real estate development. A lot of designing work went into that, and that was a major chunk of my career. So about 14 to 15 years I've worked there. And then, after that, I kind of started more of inner exploration, and that's when writing, meditation, fitness, and all these things just came together. And uh, the way I express myself now is through my writing, which Saloni has already talked about. So I've written 2 books, and they're published and they're out there. And the third one is also ready, and the fourth one is parallelly I'm working on, which is going to be how to write. So I'm going to be offering this to a lot of school children and a lot of schools where I think there's a huge gap between how we are taught to write as children and what is required of a global citizen now. So I would like to bridge that gap by writing books for children to read and understand how to write well. And this is where I am now.
Thank you so much, Ekta. That's really inspiring, and I'm waiting to hear you again later in the day. Priyanka, over to you.
Hi, very good morning to all of you. Good morning, Director Sir.
Thank you.
It gives me a lot of pleasure to be a part of the sessions where I could see a lot of successful women, and of course, the college always been so inspiring, giving platform to all of us to talk. Youngest among all the panelists. So I am from 2007 2009 batch, and I'm an HR professional, close to 11 years, and with the support of all my well wishers and the hard work and the people who are being there in my success journey, I am able to do good and well in my career because of good education and everything which I have been supported so far. So I am expecting the session to be as powerful as the Sunday morning is. So yes, thanks once again for calling me for the session.
Thank you and welcome, Priyanka. Let's hear Sabha share about her quickly.
Hi, a very good morning to all of you, all my seniors and my alma mater, and a very good morning to Chaturvedi sir. Yeah. So it's a pleasure being here again because I would say honestly that that 1 year in BIMTech is the most memorable year for me so far. We studied, we enjoyed, we did a lot of rebellious things also. I would say my batch of retail management, we were the second retail management batch which was there in the Greater Noida campus, and it was an amazing year for all of us. Like, I'm still in touch with all my batchmates, most of them, especially the ladies of my batch. So we still have a WhatsApp group which is running for like many years now, and we on and off we keep on talking about our life there, like what we did, what we enjoyed, our hostel, our campus, our classes, library. So I can still remember each and every moment I have spent there. So far in my life, I have been working, like before doing my retail management from there, I had worked for 2 years for a software company. So I am a software engineer plus now a retail management professional by education. By profession, I'm into e-commerce for many years now. It's been almost like 8 to 9 years now I am into the e-commerce business. Currently, I'm working with ICICI as a senior product manager, looking after their mobile app, the entire user experience and the marketing part of it. And side by side, I'm a kind of a full-time mom as well to 2 children. And in this entire journey, it's like I have been a juggler, managing my house, my children, their studies. My first one is a 10-year-old daughter, and second one is very small right now. So juggling and everything. So it's like I have, sat down sometimes and realized that, if women wouldn't have been there, it would be very difficult to, run a house or, run the entire family, because we really have that much of a strength wherein, we can manage everything in that similar 24 hours, which is given to everybody else, like men also. So I'm
Yeah, and none of us went to, none of our mothers went to these schools to learn these tricks, right?
Correct. So we are actually better managers. And I remember that this is one of the topics which was given to me in my personal discussion when I was applying for my IIMs also. So I had given the CAT exam, and there was one of the colleges I was applying before I entered BIMTech. And there, this was the question: whether women are better managers or not. So way back in 2005, I'm talking about. So
Remains
yeah,
undisputed.
yes, undisputed. So thank you very much for inviting me here.
Welcome, Sabha. Lovely to have you here. And over to you, Harsha. There's so much of, you said, very powerful Sunday. It's actually a wonderful sunshine out there and here as well. Because all of you are like those sunflowers. We are all looking towards you to draw that energy and grow and shine the way you want it. So, Harsha, over to you.
Thank you so much. A very happy Sunday morning. I'm really, feeling honored to be sharing the Sunday brunch together with all the lovely women and serve with you. It's like after so many years, seeing you online live. So it's really an honor. My life, I would say, has been like all the different phases around, really exploring a lot. And to put it very short, I would say there are 3 F, which I really value. One is freedom, second is fitness, and third is fun. And I think, all the women would love it as well. So I could see, my life as a reflection in the last, since 2004, when I graduated from BIMTech in the insurance division. And I took many steps and many roads I traveled. It all began with the corporate career, working with international banks. And then I shifted. I valued freedom. So I was not experiencing it there. I shifted and started my own entrepreneurship in 2015. So for the last 5 years, I'm running my own business, which is into trainings and coaching on the subject of money. And because finance has been my academic and professional background always, so that's freedom part of it. Then comes to fitness. I'm someone who's really a fitness enthusiast. So it was great to hear about you, Ekta, as well around fitness. So I've been someone who's been running marathons year by year. And this was something I started as a passion around fitness in the year 2013. And every year I would run. So I have my 6 medals to my cap. Added to that is like I'd never run even a kilometer before that. So it was great really following up my passion around fitness. And third is fun. And I always challenge myself that what could be adventurous, what could be really great. So writing is another thing and dancing is another thing. So I've explored many forms of dancing and traveling across India, internationally around the trainings and adventure world of it. And I explored writing. And I'm glad to share with everyone here that I am a published author of 2 books. These are my 2 books. Both are available on Amazon. So that's who I am in brief. Thank you.
Wow. So look at the, wonderful journey of these people. Already we got a glimpse of that. And each one bringing to the table some amazing experiences of how they maintain their hobbies and passion, and how they, whenever, life wanted them to take a new path, how did they go on, and how did that actually help them build themselves, and keeping everything together, not missing out on any opportunity. So to be very honest, I feel really honored to be a part of BIMTech, mainly because this is a place which celebrates women, which celebrates and gives opportunities to us. And I really feel humbled to be a part of many initiatives taken by our institute to empower and build other women who are at this point of time less privileged. But with us around, that's not going to be for very long. We are going to provide opportunities very soon, and we'll continue to do so under the leadership of our director. So I would like to know from Sir, what is the vision that BIMTech has and the Birla family has, and how does he ensure that batch after batch across 3.5 decades almost now, how has that only just grown up more and more and has become a big example for many others? So welcome, Dr. Chaturvedi, with your blessings and with the presence of such beautiful women here. We all owe our moment of spotlight to you in many ways. So let us know about this, sir.
सलोनी, पहले तो तुमने ये जो फ्लावर पॉट लगा रखे हैं, ये अगर असली हैं तो इनमें से 2 मुझे कल लाके दे देना.
Okay, sure, sir.
Share your prosperity.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Madhavi. Thank you, Saloni. That very innovative kind of program has been organized today. Actually, I suggested to do it on the International Women's Day, but due to lack of time, it was not possible to put requisite efforts. So I have been suggested. I was bent upon that we should do it on International Women's Day, but then I was suggested by colleagues that let us do it after some time. And the theme is very beautiful, very good theme, inspire to aspire. I like the design also. Who might have, I do not know who has designed it, because we have some facilities for designing also, and Madhavi's husband is also a well-known painter of Delhi. So I'm very happy to meet Ekta ji, who is not only a novelist, but also a weightlifter. I have seen her photographs lifting 100 kilogram. So she's a tough lady and also creative writer. So thank you, Ekta ji. Thank you, Smita Kasiramka, who has been my favorite student when she was at Postdar campus. And her husband is also my favorite, Anant Kasiramka. 15 years back, I visited the native place of Dadlaji, and there was some celebration. I visited her home also. And they have arranged me some goodies from Pilani. One peda is very favorite of Pilani, and some snack also. I'm forgetting the name, that is made of moong ki dal. And so thank you.
So vada, it's called kanji vada. Yeah.
Kanji vada कहते हैं होली पर.
Yes.
होली पर उसको राई के पानी में डिप करते हैं. आप सब लोगों ने खाया होगा, नॉर्थ इंडिया की कजिन है और वो होली पर जरूर बनाते हैं लोग. तो वो भी मुझे खिलाया और दिया. तो इन सबको, आप सभी लोगों को, सबा अली को मैं जानता हूँ जब यहाँ स्टूडेंट थी, और हर्षा जी के बारे में बहुत सुना है कि ये अगर आपको करोड़पति बनना हो तो हर्षा गर्ग से आप जो है कोचिंग लीजिए. तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि रिटायर होने से पहले इनकी हेल्प लूँ और कुछ पैसा बनाऊं. तो किताब भी इन्होंने लिखी है, तो इनमें से कई लेखक हैं. और प्रियंका डीपली इन्वॉल्व विद द BIMTech. And Saloni is not only a very passionate teacher, but part of BIMTech fraternity. One very important activity she is doing, running the most popular club of BIMTech, which is called Majlis. आप जब लोग थे तब मजलिस नहीं था, मजलिस बना है 10-12 साल पहले. डॉक्टर कृष्णन ने इसको शुरू किया था. हर्षा शायद इंश्योरेंस पढ़ी है, कृष्णन साहब को जानती हूँ. तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट many of you are pursuing offbeat careers. So this is very good to know us, that not only our sisters and our daughters have been successful in breaking the glass ceiling. And whenever I find some example, I try to send a tweet. And one slogan BIMTech has tried to popularize 5 years back on social media, because earlier there was a slogan of the government, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. We have molded it and changed it. Beti hi bachayegi. Only their daughters will be the saviors. Daughters will be the saviors. So this was the slogan. We have pursued it for 3 years. So this is our basic philosophy, that if Indian society has to enter into the 21st century with the values of 21st century, so because in many parts of India, people still believes that the lot of superstitions and lot of poor knowledge about the power of women community. Still, there are a lot of challenges in our society, particularly rural India and some of the backward parts of our country, where still girls or females have to suffer a lot. But I can give you the slogan we have given, the only daughters will be the savior. During the lockdown, I have seen a lot of stories on newspapers. One girl, 16 years old, probably from Gurgaon, she pedaled her father on bicycle. Father was not keeping well. He was severely sick. They were not having money. Buses were not flying. So she pedaled bicycle for several hundred kilometers to take her father from Gurgaon to Bihar probably. This is one story. Second story, two girls from Chhattisgarh, poor girls, teenagers girls, they were child labor. They went to Andhra Pradesh to work in the chili fields because chili is grown in Andhra Pradesh near Guntur, etc. And they were working in the chili fields. And when lockdown was imposed, they were forced to return to their native place in Chhattisgarh. They started walking on the road after several hundred kilometers walking for several days. When they reached near to their native village, one of them collapsed and died. So there are many stories where pandemic has created a situation when everybody suffered, old and young, male and female. But I think the daughters of India, they have been the saviors many times. So this is the basic philosophy, and we have imbibed it from our founder, late Sarla Devi Birla ji. And Sarla Devi Birla was daughter of a freedom fighter. Some of you who may be from Maharashtra or Smita's husband will be knowing very well that Sarla ji was a daughter of Vidarbha Kesari. I'm forgetting the name. His title was Vidarbha Kesari, Lion of Vidarbha. So he was the leader of freedom movement, and Sarla ji was his daughter. And Sarla ji was chosen by G.D. Birla ji to marry his son Basant Kumar ji Birla, and both of them met at the Varda Ashram. Basant Kumar ji and Sarla Birla both were called by Gandhi ji, and he told them, you meet each other and decide. If you like each other, then your marriage can be solemnized. And they have agreed because Basant Kumar ji was not, although having any degree, but he liked that because he traveled a little in his teenage life. So he liked that his would-be wife should be knowing English and should be able to travel with him around the world, and she could have speak English. So this was his liking. He was, I think, he was even not high school. Formal education unka nahi tha. And he was trained by his elders in the family, and he learned by doing the things. Abhi to Harvard कहता है कि learning by doing and experiential learning. I am speaking to a conference of deans of the whole world, and my presentation I am being held by 3 or 4 faculty members. It is on 7th April. So now the philosophy in management is learning by doing. So in Harvard, when Harvard B School has completed 100 years, they have started a research project. And there were 3 professors. One of them was Indian. He is Dr. Srikant Datta, who is the current dean of Harvard. And he has succeeded another Indian, Professor Nitin Nohria. And it is by chance, with the help of one of my colleagues, Professor Sunil Sangra, who is sitting with me and listening me, we visited Harvard and we met both of them, Nitin Nohria and Srikant Datta. We discussed a little about BIMTech and business education in India. And later, Srikant Datta, who is the current dean, organized a workshop at Delhi in 2015 on design thinking. So Professor Sunil has been very active in bringing top academicians from the world like Vivek Wadhwa, Srikant Datta, and many more. And he has introduced probably first time in B School 5 years back design thinking course at our institute, which has become very popular. And now from next year onwards, we are going to introduce innovating for business 4.0. Innovating for business 4.0. It is based on the concept of fourth industrial revolution propounded by World Economic Forum. So these are the several new development, but today is not the occasion. But your institute is trying to enter into the promising areas, upcoming areas, and you may be knowing very well that AICT started a scheme, the graded autonomy, because under the new education policy, many of the colleges will be given permission to confer degrees. You were given diploma. Why you were given diploma? Because colleges are not allowed till now legally to confer degree. Only universities can confer degree. So now new education policy may be providing many big opportunities for your institute, because the government of India selected 4 top B school under category 1 graded autonomy. First was Accelerite, second was BIMTech, then third, in second tranche, they have given to other institutes. I also strongly recommended to the government that why only 2? There are many, 10, 15 should be given category 1. So SP Jain and IMT Ghaziabad, there was some criteria. It was not on recommendation. There was criteria that you should have so many scores in accreditation, only then you can be given. So your institute has got this graded autonomy, category 1, and there are some in category B, like Jaipuria and some other institutes. And hopefully within next 1 or 2 years, either we may become a degree granting college, or we may become a small university offering courses, because national education policy is also asking that there will be no standalone institutions in our country like B.Ed college or management college. So we will have to start another faculty, maybe it law or maybe a liberal arts. So we have to take a decision. So these are the possibilities. Your alma mater will definitely blossom in next 5 to 10 years when NEP will be implemented. But one thing I can vouch, that during last 10 years, our people have done, I think, immense effort to make it visible, known, respected across the country, outside the country. I can give you an example that in some of the international conferences, people, foreigners, foreign leaders, business school leaders, they know BIMTech. In India, I have been crisscrossing the whole country, organizing various activities of the institute, particularly HR Roundtable. And HR Roundtable have 35 HR Roundtable have been organized, led by Professor K.K. Sinha and Dr. Manasi Chaudhary, who is heading OBHR area, who joined in 2003 at BIMTech, at Pushpa Vihar, where some of you have been studying. And so your institute is now much more known and respected in the industry, policy among policymakers, and also recruiters, and also in the media. But there is no end of going ahead and growing more. And हम लोगों की जो फैकल्टी है उसको लोग बहुत अच्छा मानते हैं, स्ट्रॉन्ग मानते हैं. 65 फैकल्टी बहुत से आईएम्स में भी, जो नए आईएम्स हैं उसमें भी नहीं है. लेकिन ये सब इसलिए भी पॉसिबल हुआ कि पिछले 15-20 सालों में एलुमनाई जो पढ़ के निकले, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा किया. जैसे कि सबके बारे में थोड़ा थोड़ा मैं जानता हूँ, बता सकता हूँ. सबने अच्छा किया. सवा अपनी कंपनी में अच्छा काम कर रही हैं. स्मिता को एक रिसर्च प्रोफेसर के रूप में आईआईटी के लोग जानते हैं. इसको एक बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट मिला हुआ है करोड़ों रुपए का, और इसके हाथ में वो करोड़ों रुपए की एक थैली है जिसको ये जहाँ चाहे खर्च कर सकती है. लेकिन वो हेल्थ वाला प्रोजेक्ट है, तो अगर आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी है तो आप स्मिता से कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. प्रियंका भी कुछ ना कुछ इनोवेटिव काम करती रहती हैं. इनकी बहन से, इनके पेरेंट्स से भी मैं मिला हूँ. एकता जी तो बिल्कुल, इनके पति बिमटेक के पार्ट एंड पार्सल है, एलुमनाई के लीडर हैं. उन्होंने पीएचडी की है एमडीआई गुड़गांव से, और अभी उनको जॉब भी मिला है एक अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी में, जो कि हीरो ग्रुप की मुंजाल यूनिवर्सिटी में ही इज बीन अपॉइंटेड एज प्रोफेसर. तो हमारी जो एलुमनाई है, और खासतौर से जो फीमेल एलुमनाई हैं, वो उन्होंने कई तरीके से नई नई चीज़ें की हैं, जैसे किताब लिखना और फ्रीलांसर बनना, और एकेडमिक वर्ल्ड में 2-3 हैं जिनको मैं जानता हूँ, जिसमें सबसे आगे तो स्मिता है, फिर एक पल्लवी इंश्योरेंस की फैकल्टी है एमईटी में, और भी लोग होंगे। लेकिन आप लोगों ने, जो लोग इसको अटेंड कर रहे हैं, उनको भी मैं देख रहा हूँ, मैं कुछ फीमेल एलुमनाई हैं, कुछ मेल्स हैं। ये जो टाइटल दिया इंस्पायर टू एस्पायर, तो आप लोगों के एग्जाम्पल से मतलब बाकी और जो लड़कियां निकली हैं पिछले 10 सालों में, जीवन में उनके बहुत संघर्ष है, बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती हैं, फैमिली को, जॉब को मैनेज करना, हेल्थ को मैनेज करना, बच्चों को देखना, ये सारी प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, पति के साथ एडजस्ट करना। इन सारी प्रॉब्लम्स के बावजूद भी आप लोगों ने जो एक अचीवमेंट हासिल किए, तो उससे वो लोग the young alumni will be inspired, and they would also like to aspire to reach the footprints or achievements shown by you. Thank you. So I take permission because I have to do some work. So you may kindly continue. Thank you, Madhvi and
Thank you,
Saloni. याद रखना कि वो 2 गमले आप मुझको लाके दे देना, उसके बदले में मैं आपको कुछ दूंगा। ये पोएट्री भी लिखती हैं सलोनी, तो इनको कुछ कविताओं की किताब हम दे देंगे कि इसके पति ने, माधवी के पति ने दी है, वो इनको प्रेजेंट करते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say other than the fact that we are so blessed. We're really blessed to have such mentors around us. एंड खुशी की बात यह है कि सबके अंदर टैलेंट होता है। समय से आगे बढ़ते हुए कहीं कुछ रह जाता है, फिर कोई मिल जाता है जो उसको बात दिखाता है कि ये भी बात है। डोंट फॉरगेट एवरी बिट ऑफ यू, एंड आई वांट ईच वन ऑफ यू टू नाउ शेयर योर स्पेसिफिक जर्नी, एंड आई एम क्यूरियस टू नो अबाउट one thing, you know, that moment in your life which you want us to know, which really resonates the theme of the session, Inspire to Aspire. So I would like to start with Smita again, and here is a person who is into research and everything else. After having done business studies, she chose academics. So Smita, what was that moment you want us to know, which is a good example of why any one of us would like to like you?
Thank you, Professor Saloni. So, in fact, you know, when I look back to my, journey so far, I mean, I think there are many such moments, you know, which probably briefly I would like to share. And of course, I come from a very small city called Dhanbad in Jharkhand. And coming from a family of doctors and engineers and bureaucrats, so taking commerce as your choice was actually not it was actually looked down upon. That was the perception. I'm talking of 96, 98, that point of time. But I think having taken a career of my choice, a subject of my choice, and then moving ahead, coming to Delhi University, I did my BCom honors from Shriram College, and I think that was a very important moment, deciding a course and then coming over here, and of course support from parents. I think that's very, very critical, when I look back at my journey so far in terms of moving ahead. And believe me, when I came to Delhi, it was a cultural shock because flamboyant, if I may say, Delhi to be, as it is. So it took me quite some time to adjust and to understand and go in its stride. So, but then it was a learning experience altogether, a different learning experience of 3 years. And then, going forward, BIMTech happened, and I did my specialization in finance. And when I look back at BIMTech, such wonderful memories, they just come flooding back to my mind, because it's not just the learning part in terms of education, in terms of academics for that matter, but otherwise I think BIMTech groomed me into, and it helped me explore all my capabilities, both your professional, I'm not the professional, but the academic side and the other side of it. So, and of course, as I mentioned, I also met my soulmate, Anant, at BIMTech. And so my first job was with Bajaj Allianz, and that was the first company that came to the campus and most coveted, I think, job at that point of time. So got placed, and so we had a training of 1 month in Pune. So it was all about moving out, adjusting with people, acclimatizing yourself to the new environment. 1 month of rigorous training in Pune with, I think, 25 management trainees that were selected across the country by the company at that point of time. And then my first posting happened in Chandigarh, and believe me, it was a marketing, profile. I think because it was a lateral entry, and for the company per se, it's very difficult to see a female coming in and maybe joining at the level which is quite close to the manager's level. But thankfully, I think things worked on, and you have to work around. When you are entering into a new environment, you need to create your own space. You need to create your a platform wherein people can interact with you, and you are also able to do your work. So that acceptance did happen, and kept moving along. And believe me, I had never thought in my life to get into academics. And जब हम कॉलेज में होते हैं तो एक क्रेज होता है, हाथ दिखाते हैं, we have some many good those carrot card readers in our batches. So जब कोई देखता था तो they used to tell me कि भाई तुम्हारी लाइफ में तो बहुत पढ़ाई है. And I used to think, oh my God, after MBA no studies at all, no books, I don't want them. But see, it's all about, at times I feel it's all about destiny. So one thing that I really liked about my job at Bajaj was the training programs, the product training programs that I used to give to my corporate partners and the brokers. I really used to enjoy that, having some 20 odd people sitting in the room, and I'm telling them about a product and how it is different and how you should sell them. So now we got married, me and Anant, in 2005, and there was a compulsion to shift to Pilani. That's my in-laws' place. Now, Pilani, I'll tell you, because all of us know Pilani as a, academic institution, BITS, right? And besides that, if you really look at it, it's an education hub with many schools, and BITS, of course, is the most important institution over there. Besides that, it's typically a village. So when this decision happened that, I had to shift to Pilani, so one thing was very clear in my mind, that I can't, that's okay, but I can't, moving to a village is fine, but I can't lose my job. I have to keep working. And the only option that was there was to, teach. So that is the point of time when I applied in BITS and got through it, luckily. And I think there has been no looking back. But again, almost 1.5 decades of my experience into academics, I think it has been a wave of learning, unlearning, and adapting to the organizations. In fact, both BITS Pilani and IIT Delhi have been two very professional, very nice and institutions, but of course having their own unique set of challenges and objectives. So BITS Pilani, I still remember my first class. It was such a with a lecture hall complex, and around 80 students sitting in the class. That was my first class, tutorial on financial management, and I had all the butterflies in my class. I still remember my first session. It went off well, and of course I was very, very nervous. But then coming back, my professor, he really, I think that's where you need that kind of support and help, and that actually pushes forward your own desire to excel. So the support, the first feedback I got, that it was excellent, the class was excellent. I think that then there was no looking back. I have taught so many courses. At the moment, I am teaching courses on finance, including financial management, accounting, mergers, acquisitions, banking. And there, of course, I also taught other courses which were core courses, because it's a large institution, so many courses have to be taught over there. But I got, thankfully, I think I have got so much of love and respect from my students, from my colleagues. That's how BITS happened, and 8.5 years I was there. I did my PhD from there, from BITS Pilani, and I'll just maybe make it short, Professor Saloni. I think we'll be running out of time. So after that, and of course I had 2 kids, so I think literally there were 3 PhDs that I did at BITS Pilani. And those 8.5 years, my husband was in Delhi and I was in Pilani, so we lived apart. I was staying with my in-laws, so it was emotionally a challenging journey, but I think together we have been able to traverse that. And then IIT Delhi happened, and I think it has been again another change in my approach, orientation, because every organization has its own set of expectations from its people. So we're moving ahead. So I learned as a teacher, I grew as a teacher in BITS, and then coming over here, I think it has been more of administration, research. So have been publishing, have been teaching, doing a lot of administration, and of course kids are also there. So if I look back at this, of these almost nearly 2 decades of my experience, a lot of things have evolved. And one thing which kept me going, I think, and I would also like to share, is that hard work. I think there's nothing that can compensate hard work, and one needs to be flexible, agile, and of course forthcoming. So you need to create that environment for yourself. Everything doesn't happen on its own, so you need to create that environment. And when I say this, I would also like to say that although people say that behind every successful man, there's a woman, but I think in today's world, I would like to acknowledge that it goes both ways. So my parents, my husband, my kids, I mean, I just can't think of reaching this point without their support and encouragement. So that's the journey I have been through, and it's still evolving. And because this is a prime time for females, when you have kids, you are married, you are adjusting in your family, and that is also the prime time for your growth, career growth. So striking that kind of what do you say, kind of balance, if I would say, becomes very difficult, but you need to create that. So that's in brief, I think, from my side. Yeah, thank you.
That's lovely. That's really lovely. And I'm so glad we are both from the same states. I'm already celebrating that as well. And my takeaways are quite a lot from your session. And I'm sure many others who are with us today, they picked up a lot. So I'm asking the attendees to please share their takeaways. So what did Smita's journey inspire you with? And let's get talking on the chat as well. And do you know that one thing that Smita said was that women, the journey is decided about where she'll be educated and how that will progress as far as her education is concerned, and there's a decision that one day she'll be married, and then onwards. Beyond that, there is so much of balancing that one has to do, and like she said, profession and personal life both need to be balanced. And my personal suggestion to all would be, please remember that she said, if the men around us also who are with us, who stand for us, that Smita is where she is today. So I think we must congratulate all the men who were in your journey, Smita, as well, to convey our wishes to them. I don't want this to stop, but nevertheless, we have to talk about the others as well. I will take because our institute was planning a book on achievers, the Trailblazer Alumna, as I mentioned as the name of the session. Ekta was at that time keenly focused on her gym, and however, she had already written a book which was launched in our institute, and I knew about it as well. So when I met her, we connected over a lot of things, and then her story came ahead, and then her spirituality and every other thing. My curiosity today is more about having had a professional career. Is writing going to be your career now? Over to you. Ekta.
Okay.
And how
Saloni,
much
you
of business education remains in your writing job as well? So,
I think whatever I have studied till date in all of my years stays with me. So even when I have taught my son, all that also stays with me, and that's kind of built on whatever I have studied. It further built a lot. I think all the mothers over here will understand that when you're teaching your own child, how you refresh everything and how you grow along with your child. So those years were, and that's what you really also remember. Your own childhood, a lot of things fade away, but when you're actually growing with your child, you really, really learn a lot. So, and my career started with a very, very offbeat career, which is in 98 women in the field of real estate development. Standing there at construction sites was not really very acceptable. So I would move around the sites very comfortably and give instructions and all. And after about 4 5 years of being in this profession, a cousin of mine had visited the site, and he was completely amazed. He said, "I thought you were just there, moving around and more like a showpiece, but people are actually listening to you and taking instructions from you." So he was quite flabbergasted. And that's the point I realized that the time that I had actually joined in was not the time that I realized, but later when people's reactions were so startling that I realized that I had chosen a profession which was really offbeat right from day one. So when Harsha talks about freedom, I completely relate to her. Freedom. I know what that means, and I know I've run a lot of marathons myself because I was looking for freedom. I was kind of just running out on the streets was freedom to me. So that's why I was doing it, I guess. Um, I think about 14, 15 years into this, uh, I started a lot of inner exploration. I started my own gymnasium, a wellness center where a lot of women would come in, talk to me, share, take counseling. We would, really discuss a lot of matters which women need to talk, but they don't have the window to share and talk. So that also, besides the physical workouts, we were doing meditation, and we were into a lot of wholeness, holistic programs. And as Saloni has said, I'd written my first book, and I was on to my second book at that point in time. I was parallelly writing, and uh, I think uh, I don't think I can say as of now that writing is going to be my final career, because I'm constantly learning and evolving, and I am really not shy of delving into anything new. I am not the kind of person who says no to anything now. So next time it might be just a backpack and a lot of travel and maybe writing about my travels or something. So it could just happen out of the blue. I'm not a person who's restricted by what the world wants me to do or the mold in which the world wants me to be. I I am whatever I want to be. So I will just move around being, the free bird. And thankfully, as Smita also pointed out, the men in my family, starting from my father, my husband, my son, they've always been a major support to whatever it is that I've wanted to do. And that is, one thing that comes to my mind very often when I see empower women being, flashed in your face. Sometimes it upsets me because I think it's very, very cliched now. Empowering of women, I would rather see it as, identify the energy inside you. There's a masculine and a feminine energy inside each one of us, and we need to identify which one is needed at which point in time. And if at my construction site that masculine energy is needed, that's what I give out. If in my house a feminine side of me is needed, that's what I give out. So that is the juggling, I think, as a woman, I think we're very fortunate to have that innate characteristic in us. We can juggle those energies and we can be successful because we know how to mold and understand what is needed in a particular situation. So from my construction side to writing to running a house to being a mother to being a wife, everything I have to juggle around those energies. And I would like to, leave a message for whoever's listening to me today that it's not a man or a woman who is succeeding. Be a balance of energies, be a balance of masculine and feminine energies, and let you succeed as a life, a balanced life, not as a man. Don't feel that I'm a woman and I'm successful. I'm a life and I'm successful, and I'm a balanced life, and that's why I'm successful, because I know what to use when. I know how to be at what point in time. So, I have a lot to say and a lot to share, but I think I'll keep it short. Can't just go on and on.
Can you tell us about your book, the latest one, and you won an award as well during the Literature Fest. So let us know about that.
Yeah, so this is the latest book is Kaivalya, A Fire Within, which is based on the journey of this lady, the protagonist, who's moving around. Her job is taking her all around various destinations of India, and there she is bombarded with some visions from her past lives. And she, what is the takeaway from each of those past lives, and how interconnected all those past lives are, and what she's being served now in her current life, and in each of those lives that she's visioned, she realizes that it is of her own doing, that whatever she is being served is really what she has uh, thrown in. So it's not that you can put the responsibility of what you have on your platter today on somebody else. It's you who's made what you are today, and it's you who's got to take responsibility, and it's you who's got to change it if you want to. So that's basically in very cryptic terms what this book is about. It's the settings is all India, and because I love my country and I would like to explore every part of it, and that's why my writing just resonates with India. So it's a travel all around India in various jungles, deserts of India. So and this is where she's seeing all this happen, and this is where she gets her understanding of what life is all about, and what she needs to do, and what is her takeaway from each life. So this is what this book is about: reincarnations and karma.
That's amazing. And I think I would ask everybody to definitely pick up the book. And Ekta, a storytelling, a story reading session with you is soon planned, and I'll make that happen. And it's important for us. I like the fact that we need to celebrate India. And whenever we plan a vacation, we are always looking at a small island outside India. Uh, why? I mean, let's just also explore our own country first. So maybe, yeah, our own interests have to be there. Lovely, lovely listening to you, Ekta. I particularly felt that there's so much to give in any which way one must. So once again, I think it's a great honor to have all of you share your journey here. And Priyanka, what was your that moment that you would like us to know? And I'm sure it will be again a story that will inspire many to aspire.
Definitely. And I'm also inspired by what Ekta said, that there are a lot of things when you move around the country or nationally, internationally. So you will see the faces keeps on changing, but you will find the same people around. So same behaviors and everything same. So yes, again I'll say a very good afternoon. It's already 12:10 to everyone. So I'm sure everyone is alert on the call. Hello. So yes, there was quite some moments where I could see that I have just pushed out my boundaries, and I belong to a small place in UP, Meerut. I did my schooling from Meerut, and then my graduation also. Appeared for CAT, then struggled, to get into good colleges. BIMTech was one of the options. And yes, there were few things when I joined BIMTech. When I will say that till 12th and graduation, I was pretty very much in my comfortable zone. So things, whatever I want, things were falling in place. So I was a person who has always experienced success in life. So success, and have even in class 10th, 12th, 9th, and everyone, every in my education, graduation, got few awards. Never felt failures in my life. So when I get into BIMTech, I could see that yes, I all of my batchmates, they were pass out from Delhi University. And I really face, because now I never shared this with any in amongst any of the platform in BIMTech, that someone was from the Jesus is Mary, someone from Hansraj, and we have a handful of people, good people from Delhi University. And coming from a UP, we have a batch of mix of people coming from Indore, Mumbai, and Delhi. Most of the them were from Delhi and nearby states. Someone from Tripura and Tamil Nadu, and that's how the mix of the batches were. I face struggle in terms of getting into that that batch, and then also studying along. And there was some moment in the first semester. I'm just sharing my very close story to all of you, because I think the students who are studying, they can relate to it. So once I get into the campus, I was really struggling, and then I reach out to my mom that I have made a wrong choice. I should not. I would have continued my education there, and then it's all about education only. Na, getting a job, I would have done it from there, and then of course I was out of my comfort zone. Though then she asked me, so what is bothering you? So I said, I will not be able to get a good grades because of the atmosphere which I'm not able to gel with. Then she said me that, have I asked you to get good grades? Have I ever asked you to have this percentage in class 10th, 12th, or graduation? I said no. So then she said, look at the larger picture. What is the larger picture? Getting a good grades is a larger picture. Getting into BIMTech is a larger picture. Making your own career, what you want to do, is a larger picture. So that was a moment when she said, change your focus. So your focus is not immediately getting into gelling up with your classmates. The focus is not into getting good grades. The focus is what you want in life. Then she taught me two, three things. Then she said, do not say that it's not possible. Say, I am possible. So I had the statement always in my mind that it is possible, whether, any challenges or opportunity which is coming to my way, I have to make it possible, because somewhere one of my inspiration, which is, my mom, we are three daughters. And then my two sisters are also doing great in their careers. So she has that, she's always been inspiring me, in telling me that uh, you have tasted success, taste failure also. Then only you know the importance of success. She asked me to look at the larger picture. She taught me, look at the things which are not possible, make it that I am possible. You are not an impossible person. Anything which you touch into, you focus into, will become possible for you. Then the corporate journey started. I got a pre-placement offer in Tata Power from college itself. And that was a time when there was a lot of international disturbances happened, and there were hardly few jobs in the market in HR. But somehow with all the good grace and the blessings of all the people around me, I could get into Tata Power. That was all a manufacturing core unit. That was a moment in my life. Till that time, I have been working maximum for the manufacturing unit, and I have become a whole core HR, manufacturing IR professional, which I think a lot of my administrative skills also came up, and then I've been doing well in my career. A lot of challenges I have faced. I have seen where I have been given a place in the table and my voice was not heard. So then I came back to home, and then I see that what is something which I can do about it. Trust me, after say a month time, when I worked focusedly on the areas where I think my voice will be heard on the table, it was all done. So today I'm one of the important leaders in the organization, youngest leaders who drive for the complete organization the diversity agenda. So be it any challenging position, be it anything, so it is my example is given that why not give it to her, she will make it possible. So that's how it is for all because I would not tell any kind of thing which will not doable for all the students who are on the call. I would like to tell them that do not concentrate just on getting a campus, a job. I keep on getting calls from the students, and how do you think BIMTech will able to provide us placement? Do you think BIMTech will is a good institution? So what is like something bothering you? You are already in a good institution. We have heard Dr. Chaturvedi also that now we will be in a university. What is something which is bothering you? It is you who is going to make things happen. It is BIMTech is just a platform. So once you have already stepped into it, I don't think that you will step back and see, have we done something right? So take decisions and make them right. So this is a very small story which I have. I have close to 11 years experience working in industry, in HR, business partnering, strategic management, and different facets of HR I have touched upon so far. So yes, I don't see any reason of going back and looking at things which were not there, which has made which were not doing as per your own wish. So if it is happening with some other wish, which is a God's wish, this is the best thing which is happening around you. So a final is don't give up. Whatever inspirations you have, just pass on and have that gratitude in place to say thank you. Maybe even to the security guard you have in the campus. When you enter in the campus, you go to your home, you come back 100 times, you go back. But any point of time, have you say thank you to that person who is just taking care of your security and everything, following the protocols with this pandemic and all? So just have this gratitude in place. I think things will all automatically fall. Change your focus on how you being one of the best person who can get a job in market, and then they'll say, okay, this is from BIMTech. So let's do something different, and I am sure it will help you to go long way in your careers. So getting X percentage of package job will not define you. Once you go as Ekta and Harsha, they are doing very Sabha also. They are doing very well in career. And now the time I think we have realized it is not that X amount of package or the job and the salary which we get at the end of the day. It is more about inner peace and what are we exactly doing. Are we doing something what we want, and we want to give back to the society and everyone around us. So thanks everyone. Without taking much of the time, thank you for calling me here. That's what I have to share.
Thank you, Priyanka. Yeah, certainly gratitude is so very important. I think we need to be very humble, and we need to be very with people who are making life better for us. We we ignore even the smallest of things, and we don't realize that small thing has actually contributed in a very big way. And when you mentioned about your family with three girls in the family, that's the same way we are in my family also. We are three sisters, and we are trying to do our best, whatever that we can do, and how our parents have brought up. The one word which I heard all around and always was gratitude. And let me tell you something, I have a habit of saying thank you so much that some of my friends are always like, enough, you don't have to say thank you. But I said, I that's me. I need to be thankful because that one little thing has actually given me a better moment just now. So how can I not say thank you? So I believe that we should all be very grateful to these small events and people around us. Good or bad has always helped us emerge. So thank you, Priyanka. That was very inspiring. And there's a lot of energy here, wonderful aura of all of you. With all these attendees, I request them to please share in the chat what is it from each of them that is inspiring you to aspire. And also, we have Sabha next, and I wish that I don't have to tell you to stop, but I'm so sorry. We will get more and more opportunity to hear you. So, Sabha, over to you.
Once again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I will try to keep it short and simple. So, in very small words to start with, my life has been extremely eventful since my childhood days. I have been brought up with one sister and two brothers, and wherever I am right now, it's because of all the men in my life primarily. First, my father and my brothers, and a major, my father and my brothers and my mother and my sister, they were all major influence on my life. Since my childhood, I have been very, very enterprising, very, very passionate about what I want to be in my life. So you guys won't believe that I was so passionate that when I was 10 or 12 years old around, or maybe, when I was around 15 years old, when I was in ninth standard, I used to read a lot of newspaper. So just to give you insight, I come from a very small town called Jamshedpur in Jharkhand. My father is a criminal lawyer. Now he is retired. And he encouraged to, read a lot. So in my house, reading was a very important part of our daily, conversation and reading and, discussing about different topics, day-to-day topics. So I used to read that time. I used to read Asian Age because there Asian Age was the newspaper which used to come there, and I used to read Asian Age, and I used to read about Kiran Majumdar Shah and Indra Nui, and I used to be so fascinated and inspired by what they were doing. Nana Lal Kidwai, and I used to think that one day I will be like them. I was so inspired that see, these are the women who are doing something for their, for themselves. Because that time itself, there were very few women who were coming out and people were talking about. So I was very inspired by them. One more important thing that I actually there was some very bad financial times during when I was growing up, when I was schooling. So my parents had to shift me from a very good school in Jamshedpur, a very good English medium school, to a very, average Hindi medium school. So just to tell you, I have completed my 10th from a Hindi medium school. Nobody spoke English in my school. And it was a big shift for me, and it was very challenging for me because it was like, why can't I speak in English? Do I need to be in an English medium school to talk in English? And you won't believe, I put in my efforts. I never wrote my notes in Hindi. I always used to write my notes in the class in Hindi, come back home, translate it in English, and then I used to stand in front of the mirror and talk in English, and in a better English. I used to read dictionaries, I used to read encyclopedia, and just jot down 10 details. So that much of effort I used to put in because I really wanted to talk well in English with good vocabulary, good language, and good pronunciations and all. And my father always encouraged me. He always used to say that, because of our financial situation, this happened, but I would not want you to, go down in that path. And he always encouraged me to go out and study. So at that time, during 99, I wanted to go for computer studies. Nobody from my town was, being sent to a place like Manipal because it was very difficult. There was no flight connectivity. Train used to take 2 days. But my father decided, no, you want to study? Go do your software engineering. I went to Manipal. I studied there for 3 years. Hostel life started for me, independent and hostel life started then and there itself. So I learned how to be independent. I learned how to manage myself. I studied my software engineering, went back to Jamshedpur. And then again, I said my parents, I can't live here. I have to work. I went to I came back to Delhi. 2 years I worked with Exteria as a CRM professional, and then I said that I want to go to UK for my MBA. So my mother was against it because she said, no, akeli ladki ko nahi jaane denge hum India ke bahar. But then my father was again very supportive. He said that, look, I don't have that much of money to, fund you. If you want, you please apply to good colleges, go there. I don't have any problems, but you have to fund for yourself. I said, yeah, fine. I'll get a scholarship. I'll go there and I'll do that. So I got a call from UK, Staffordshire. But then at the same time, I got a call from BIMTech also. So I was a little confused. I discussed with my brothers and they said, and throughout my journey, my brothers were very supportive. So my brother said that, why don't you go for it? So it's better that there also it's 1 year course, here also it's 1 year course, so go for it. And my elder brother has been into mall management in the year 2005. when Shipra Mall had come for the first time. So he was a mall head there. And I was so fascinated by life at mall, all those glamour and everything. And he used to take me every day. So he's like that, this is a good chance to get into it. And, let's see because future is going to be malls and retail and everything. So I said, okay, fine, let me go for a retail management course. So that's how I ended up in BIMTech. And I would definitely say that throughout, that 1 year of my studies, I enjoyed as much, even more than what I had enjoyed in my hostel life in Manipal. So, it was very eventful, very good. Post doing my, BIMTech also, as, all of you, like Priyanka also rightly said, that it's not about what college you are passing out from, because I was very reluctant in getting into, BIMTech. And then I was trying for CAT. I applied for CAT and in a lot of institution, of course, it's difficult to get into that. But then I realized that it's up to me. If I will put in my efforts, it doesn't matter that which college I come from. And BIMTech has still a standing in the, in its academic circle. So people still know about what is Birla Institute. So I thought that, yeah, fine, I'll go for it. And we were the fortunate second batch of retail management wherein there was 100% placement. And all the good companies of, Adidas and Levi's and these people had, picked up all of us. So we were very happy. I started my journey with Primus Retail. We were licensee for, franchisee and licensee for Levi's and Adidas. So I started with them. But there was a big break which came in. It was again a very eventful story. Like I met my husband for a research when I was searching through Google. I met my husband also. He is a PhD from IIM Calcutta. And he was associated with IIM Indore that time. And somehow we got in touch with, and, we started dating and all, and I got married. Then I had to shift to Indore. And I said, my life is over. It just started like 2007. I have just started my career. My life is over. I won't be able to do anything. He said, no, nonetheless, I will help you out. So now the other man enters my life, my husband, who has been very, very extremely supportive throughout. Whatever I want to do, I have been driving him up the wall for every little thing. Like sometimes, literally I drive him up the wall. And he has been patient and supportive with me. He said that whatever you want to do, you do. I have you my back. So it's like that. And the most interesting part of my life has been when I became a mother. So I became a mother in 2009 for the first time. My daughter was born. And then when she was 5 months old, and we shifted, after Indore, we shifted to Mumbai. Mumbai, we were very happily. I was also working in Mumbai. He was also working. My daughter was born, and then that market crash came in 2009. My husband lost his job in Mumbai. So he said that I am just getting a job in Mysore. So one of the companies in Mysore, situated in Mysore. So he said, I need to move. And I said, I can't move to Mysore. It's a place for, retired people. I can't go there and live. I love my life in Mumbai. I just can't go there. He said, but what to do? Then we decided, let's move. So when my daughter was 5 months old, we moved there. It's a good, nice little quaint town. However, there was no career for me. And I was very worried what to do. Then I said, why am I thinking? And I had a lot of ideas. And before that, I had traveled to a lot of places. Like we had traveled to Singapore. And by the way, I'm a travel junkie. I just love. So far, I've traveled to almost like 20 countries now. And almost most of the parts in India I have traveled. So that much of traveling I love. And I write a lot of blogs also on traveling. You can check. I will share my blog link also. So on travel, I write a lot of blog. So then I decided that why can't I? And when my daughter was just 5 months old, she used to have a lot of rashes on her skin. So I started to figure out that what kind of clothing should I, make her wear. And I got to know about organic cotton. And I did my research about organic cotton. And then there started my brand called Be Organic. So I have been an entrepreneur also. So then entrepreneurship bug caught me and I created my brand Be Organic. And to be honest with you, in 2010 and 11, early 2011, I started my own marketplace. That was one of the first marketplaces in India. And I had been covered by Hindu newspaper in South. That's one of the pioneers of marketplaces in India, Sabali Scalem. I still have that cut out with me. And, one of the pioneers of introducing 100% certified, GOTS approved organic cotton clothing for babies. So my marketplace had everything everything, right from Hot Wheels and everything, all those brands. So what you see of the likes of First Cry and Myntra, and there was nobody in the market. And the kind of technological developments I was doing, like that time I had introduced virtual show, trial room, wherein you can check your clothes online. Try when you buy. So all these concepts which you're seeing now, I had introduced then and there itself. So I was way ahead of my time. And then I had an 8-month-old baby to manage. I did not know many people, and I was building my website. I had a warehouse to manage. So it was tens of things I would manage on my own. And you won't believe, I used to carry my baby on my Moses basket. Nobody used to dare to take care of my baby at home. My husband has work. So I used to carry her and I used to go to meetings. I used to feed her. I used to put her to sleep, and I used to tell my guys. So once I had gone to a meeting where 10 men were sitting. I was the only woman with a baby. So everybody was staring at me, and I said, guys, I'm very sorry. Please don't mind. I'm very professional in this case. I will take the meeting. My baby is not going to disturb. She is well fed and asleep. So I'm very sorry. I'm just putting her here beside me, and I will continue with the meeting. And literally, there was kind of an order which I was trying to get for my organic for the bulk order, and then I got that order. And and I, because I was reading that story before that, I had read a story of Madame Tussauds. Madame Tussauds also, when she had started building her Tussauds museum, she used to have 4 children, and she used to carry all 4 children to all the meetings. So it was like very inspiring for me. So I have always I have always been inspired with bits and pieces of all these successful women of all the eras and ages, different ages. So that was one of the very big, moving step for me. I ran my business for 3 years. Ran pillar to post to get a funding, because nobody knew about what e-commerce is all about. People used to say, what is it? What are you doing? I used to say, no, but please understand at least what I'm talking about. It is the future. And nobody could understand. But then, after, kind of investing around all my savings, all my husband's savings on this thing, it started to bleed. And then we decided that let's put it a stop. Maybe I'm way ahead of the market right now. Let's put it a stop. And then, maybe later on we will just, renew it. So that's how I put it into stop. But that was, again, I was very, very disappointed, very disheartened. However, my husband encouraged me, saying that take it as a learning experience. Think that you have learned something. Think that you have taken a course on e-commerce. So you have utilized your education. You're a software engineer, you're a retail expert. You merged these two and then you created something. And think it as that you were learning for 3 years. So I actually took it in my stride. And then that actually opened a door to me into the world of e-commerce. I came back into corporate again. I shifted back to Mumbai. I came back into corporate again. And that's how people, within shifting back to Mumbai after closing down, within 2 months of time, I got picked up by one of the companies here as an e-commerce head. So, that was a window of opportunity which actually opened up. And since then I went to e-commerce. And then in the meantime, what I want to say to all the students also from my own entire experience of my life, that never say never and never give up. Never think that what you are doing, it's not enough. You are doing, and it's a learning experience in the entire life. Take every step of your life in your career, be it personal, as a learning curve. And everything, whatever I have been done, it's a learning curve for me. And never stop learning, never stop enhancing your experience. So whatever I have been doing, I have been in the course of this, I have taken a lot of Google certifications, because I really want to, be up in the game wherever I am. So earlier I was having experience in web. Now I'm having an entire experience of creating a user experience in app. And I have always kept an eye, what is going to be the future? So AI, and then VR. So I have always kept myself up in the game, learning new things and being ahead of people. Why? Because, then you have to make yourself valuable in the market if you really want to continue. And as you say that, sometimes I feel this is not my area. I just can't do it anymore. And I just want to start up on my own again. I have few ideas again. So, again, never say never. Maybe in future I'll be an entrepreneur again. And that's all about, and, juggling a family and everything, which every woman is doing. And I said, everybody is wonderful. All the women in this world is wonderful. And there are actually many men behind a successful woman. So that's all about me. So I'm sure that's I have not taken much of the time.
Thank you, Sabha. That was again, I can't I am speechless. However, before I hand it over to Harsha, let me share with you, Sabah. Nice to meet a Tata girl. I am also from Jamshedpur, and
Wow.
that city has given us a lot. But what you said is staying ahead of time. I totally agree with that. I think we have to keep that going because we are building people for the future. So some of us have to have that futuristic vision as well. So I'm so glad to have met you, Sabah. Harsha, so much of story about you we've heard. Now you have to tell us where did you begin and your story that will tell us how we should be in our own journey.
Thank you so much. And, before I say, I'm the last speaker and I can hear, everyone here, Priyanka, Smita, Ekta, Sabha, your stories are so touching. Like, when I
I
joined the
already got
session,
goosebumps.
the
Yeah.
brunch is like already here. It's like full. I don't think I would need a dinner today. So it's super awesome. And, especially just because Sabha was speaking before me, I want to say, Sabha, I think you just didn't take your husband up the wall, probably all the men. Being in that conference room with that baby and all of that stuff. So that was super
That's
inspiring.
the reason why we named the session Trailblazer. Madhvi, it worked well.
So it was super awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So now I'd like to share my story. What I see is, I would begin with how BIMTech happened to me actually. So I'm from Delhi and I just graduated from Shri Ram College of Commerce way back and was completing my post-graduation as well, again from the same college. And then my family wanted me to get married. So I come from a business family whereby it's like, you've done studies, what else to do? Just go get married and you understand, what life is. After that, nothing else. And as I said earlier, I valued freedom. I was like, not this early. How is that possible? So here I come. BIMTech happened to me in that situation. I was like, I will study. I just picked up a college which is like easy nearby. And I was like, I applied for it and I got it. I was like, I'm studying. So I don't know if there are students who could relate to this. This also a part of maybe a woman's life or, that is how BIMTech happened to me. Now came the second point. It's like, since I was from Delhi, I was like, okay, then travel to BIMTech. That time BIMTech was in Pushpa Vihar. That was the last year when BIMTech was in Pushpa Vihar. So it's like, okay, this is within Delhi. Just travel day in, daily, I'm like, no. I will stay in hostel. I don't want to stay. I actually wanted to run away. It's like kind of really wanted freedom away from the family. It's not that I don't love my family. I really love them. But what I'm saying, it's like a business joint family system. The only thing they see for women, study, get married, start your, the key role of a woman. And I wasn't cut for it. I think I just wasn't cut for it at that moment at all. And BIMTech happened. And then I was thinking, what will happen next? And life started moving on. 1 year was too short. It just flew like this, It's like, it was so quick that I couldn't guess when I was going to go back to home. Now what? I was like, no, I'm not going back home. I'm just not going back home just like that, back to the same, situation. And I got the placement, the first placement I got from BIMTech. I was like, okay, great. I'm getting placement. I'm starting to work. So I'm not going back to the situation. And this is how working started for me, because otherwise, as a family, the culture was like, why a woman needs to work. So it's like what I see, I've been fighting through all those, the norms which we see maybe for 80% of the women in India, even today. Despite we talk of all that, there is so much freedom, there is so much education happening. Still, the fact is that many women probably work not for a career, maybe just for freedom. It's like they would have some pocket money or they would have some liberty before they settle down into a married life, right? So I wanted to always, fight away that and go. And the career began, and because I was from insurance in BIMTech, so I got a placement typically in the insurance sector. And within a year, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing with this all insurance conversation all the time? As I was saying, I graduated from Shriram College of Commerce with so much of finance education. And in fact, one of the top ranks in Delhi University during my graduation days. I was like, I want to do something better rather than just talking insurance to people everywhere. And I then upshifted from that job, which is SDFC Bank, into investment banking, the world of mergers and acquisitions world, and which really opened up a big door for me of international clients, international dealings, connecting on all those spectrum, which was again beyond, what I had ever done before. And here I would say one thing. I've heard almost everybody talking, it's not just that, it's behind a successful man, there's a woman, but behind successful women, there are men. So I would say, that support from men actually comes in two forms. At times, they would just stand by your side to help you do it. And at times, they will not stand by your side by telling you do it yourself. So I just wanted to be very practically, I've experienced both. And I look at both as an opportunity, as a big support by them. If they wouldn't have told me that do it yourself, I probably would have been that woman like, oh, please, you do. Woman grow as a woman who accepts her powers. Is like a woman who has her powers to make it on this planet. But the initial career, I noticed, what Ekta was talking about, feminine and the masculine energy. I realized my first, 8-9 years of corporate career, there was this thing, because very few women would be in an industry like investment banking, or even later on I moved to logistics sector. There were hardly women. These industries are just probably 10% women and 90% men. And automatically you become more masculine. You kind of leave your feminine power and you get disconnected to that. And that was a turning point, as you were asking Professor Saloni. That was a turning point for me when I realized I think I have become too masculine. It's like all about career. It's all about, going up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder. And there is something I'm missing. I didn't wanted my freedom this way. I think inside of this whole thing called as freedom, there is something else I'm leaving behind, and it's a trap. It's again binding me into something else. And there I wanted to break free again and leave that corporate world. And the bug, as Sabha also shared about entrepreneurship, that hit me. and a lot of inner conversation, we were talking about spirituality, Ekta also mentioned about it. That all started hitting me after I already have made to a certain level in the corporate career. It's like, no, what's more to me? Who am I? And what do I really want to leave on this planet? As we have the topic inspire to aspire, what I could see, it's like, which always inspired me, is aspire, Harsha, to inspire before you expire. I will leave. I will leave one day. So before I expire, I want to leave. What will I leave on this planet? I would keep consuming all that this earth is, all these people, everybody's giving me. But is there something I can now start walking on that path to leave that behind? So there the shift happened completely. My journey started shifting. That was 2013 and 14. And it's like 7 years inside of which I kept on pushing myself, exploring all that running and workouts is a space which really gets to get in and really explore who are you? What would you provide? And there the mission began for me. It's like the mission, which is like all my corporate and academics and my family being business world and all. I was like, I want to shift one thing before I leave, which is my mission now. And that is actually, like I see, is like 80% of the people who live on paycheck to paycheck, being stuck in the money world, is like to make them free. You have the freedom. So that became my mission, and that's where I am. So wonderful being here, and I just want to keep it this short, unless there is something else which I can share, or you want me to share. Yeah.
Lovely. I had a
Thank you.
Sunday brunch, so very nutritious. I thought that for the soul, for the mind, you all have just brought in the energy we had in mind when we were curating this, and when I was naming it, Madhvi also, and we were brainstorming, and we came up with this inspire to aspire. Madhvi, inspired to aspire before you expire. Harsha just extended that for us. Brilliant, leading by example, stories from Sabah. You literally gave us goosebumps. And do you know that there are a number of attendees who have questions for all of you? And I'll ask Madhvi. Yeah, Madhvi. So we'll take a few, and as we go onwards, with the questions, some of them are specifically mentioned for a certain speaker. However, there are certain questions which anybody could take up. So over to you, Madhvi, please. Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a moment.
So I hope everyone is enjoying, and I'm loving this, and I'm so glad I'm here. I think now I feel it's all this time, because being from Jamshedpur, I met Sabha and I got to know that she's from Jamshedpur. Smita being from Jharkhand, Ekta I know because of her love for books and everything, and all of this beautiful BIMTech family. I'm thrilled to meet Priyanka. She just is so energetic. And as she mentioned, young, I think that's the message from Priyanka, that we all need to be young all the time. And being in the company of young people like you keeps us young as well, in mind, body, and soul.
By the way, Saloni, my first job was in Jamshedpur. So, so I work for Tata's in Jamshedpur only.
Lovely.
So that's a lovely city. Yeah.
There is one question from Shrey Bhatia. And he's asking, many girls don't get support from their family as they have come from a conservative background. What do you think can be done to help these girls to follow their dreams? For Ekta ma'am. This question is for Ekta ma'am.
Harsh, I am aware of what you're talking about. So I have never been in that situation, because, as I mentioned, I've had very balanced men around me who have always nourished my my appetite for learning, or whatever it is that I wanted to do in life. So I've had a very, very strong support. But I do see a lot of women who want to do a lot, but they are not able to. I think you just have to have the courage to get out of your comfort zone. Put up a fight if you need to put it up, because if you know that you have something in you which you need to share with the world, and that even a little bit of your work can touch a life, your sharing can change a life, touch a life, I think you've got to go out, explore, get out there, be courageous, and just, take it on heads on. I think, and after a while, I've noticed with most of the families and most of the men, that after a while, they do see you struggling, and after a while, they do give in, and they do let you do your thing. So that struggle and that putting yourself out there, exploring, being courageous is very, very important. So I think you just have to break your way through those first initial years, because sitting back and just accepting whatever is going on in the society will not help. You just need to be out there. You need to fight it out practically.
Thank you, Ekta ma'am, for answering the question. And there is one more question from Chirag Jaiswal to Dr. Smita. What was the greatest hurdle you faced when you moved from Delhi to a small town, Pilani, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, thank you, Chirag. I think, old memories are just, flooding down the memory lane. So if you look at it, I think lots of things, both on professional front and personal front. And in fact, while Ekta was, answering the previous question, I was also thinking on similar lines. So, of course, one thing, my in-laws side, they are very conservative. It's a very conservative family. And none of the females, at least till that point of time, they were working. Typical what Harsha was also sharing. A joint family, and women don't go out, and it's a taboo. So making them, convincing my husband first, of course, that I wanted to work, and of course he was convinced on that front. And so settling down in a family without husband, because my husband was in Delhi, I came down to Pilani with my in-laws. So and literally I'm sharing with you wearing a sari, because it's a Marwadi Banya family. So I used to wear sari 24 hours, which I had never done in my life except for few occasions like farewell and friends marriage and I think just a few of them. So personally, of course, very very difficult, and professionally, because I had never ever imagined that I'll go into teaching line, right? So it was in fact a transformation that happened to me. And but that's what I was saying, that you need to create that environment which is conducive towards yourself. And I would say that my husband, my mother-in-law, all my family members, they have been very supportive in terms of changing their viewpoint, their perspective. And one change that I see now, and I take that pride in sharing it over here, that from that point onwards, I see many of the, in fact most of my nieces and the other kids, they are getting into jobs, they have started working. So because I think the job I did, and of course it was appreciated, and so people have started liking it and also respecting that. So that really has percolated down on both the sides, both I think on my mother's side also, because commerce now is not a taboo at all. And yes, of course, taking up career for women is now, in fact, all my we have a joint family, so all the my the Anand's cousin, my husband's cousins, their kids, the girls, they are all they are working now. So I think that mindset has changed, because I think I initiated that, and of course with my full support from my family. So that's I think a change. It was a drastic transformation that happened for me. And 8.5 years, I used to wear sari. I think that was a struggle, but I think that's how it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next question is from Mr. Aditya Agarwal to Sabha ma'am, and he's asking about how one's family attitude created an atmosphere for women or girls for future development.
So Aditya, family support is actually very important. It's not only for girls, I would say, it's for the overall development of a child. So whether it's a girl or a boy. So whatever, so see, I'll not restrict it only to a girl child, or it is applicable to a boy child also. It's all about what a child wants to do, what are his or her interests, where it is lying. So whatever that child wants to do or grow up wanting to be doing, family needs to be supportive enough in saying, not only in saying that okay, fine, it's what you want to do, and just being a being a not letting that child down with anything, that okay, fine, because in the Indian scenario, that now it has been shifted. Like I'm talking about from the time when we were growing up, it was very particular that a child needs to grow up being a doctor or an engineer, because those are the safe and secure kind of professions in India, which actually earns money. However, if a child, or especially to be honest about, if a girl, if she wants to be a swimmer, or if she wants to be a badminton player, or if she wants to be a photographer or for an artist per se, a family needs to support in terms of the interest of that child lies in there. And if she is good at it, then they should encourage the child to grow further and enhance her knowledge and skill further by getting her admitted to a better school, maybe if their if their capability allows, or if they have the capability to do that. So family support is extremely important, and family needs to see where exactly it is headed towards. So they just don't need to force upon their ideas and their knowledge that, okay, no, this is what is right for you. Let them explore, let them be open to explore, you be a guide to them, and then everything will fall in place.
Thank you, Sabha. Actually, I'm receiving a lot of questions, but we are running out of time. So I think we can take. I can take up these questions, and I can mail you, or we can connect some other day for the same. And right now, I would like to get back to Saloni, Professor Saloni Sinha for ma'am, please carry on.
Okay, so there were some very beautiful questions, and truly speaking, I was happy to see the boys who are attending the session put such sensitive questions, and I would definitely want you all to respond to it. So Madhvi, please make sure that these are mailed and you get the and especially a question by Kushagra. I still think I want to take this in this platform itself. Kushagra Gaur has asked Ekta, these days there's a lot of talk about women's spirituality. Is there any difference from that of men? I particularly took this up to close the session. This was one of the moments where, we want to let them know that, over to you, Ekta.
Okay. Kushagra, thank you. That's a very interesting question. And what spirituality is all about? It's an inner exploration of a dimension which is non-physical. So which is not something that you can touch and feel, which is not tangible, but it's an exploration of your inside world, and for you to kind of find closure in this from the circle that we are trapped in. So if you read my book, you'll probably get a lot of answers there. But as a woman or a man, I don't think there is any difference in the exploration per se, in your final target or what you're looking for. There is really no difference. But the way we approach it will definitely be different because of the way a man is and because of the way a woman is. Because men are like, I always draw the equivalence of men are like the sun. They are always steady and constant and focused in one particular way. Maybe unidirectional, but very focused, very concentrated, and they stay the same all the time. But women, we are like the moon. So we are waxing and waning and waxing and waning and waxing and waning. So, our approach to anything, even if it's spirituality, is different. And that's why we are multitaskers also. We need to, we have to take care of a lot of things, and that's the way we are built internally. So our approach to spirituality, of how we go about it and how we achieve that thing inside of us might be different. The end goal is the same. But if you want to know more about it, and this is a very, very intense question, and I can't do justice to it in this.
But I really wanted a conversation starter, because let us keep that in mind, that we met today to meet again and again, and as a space where we could voice and we could share our own, instincts over here freely. So it was important that we keep meeting you all more and more. So I'm sure, Madhvi, it's not going to be easy to conclude, because there's so many beautiful moments of this session. I'm carrying back a lot with me. I'm filled with gratitude. I'm immensely lucky, to have been a part of such a beautiful session. So Madhvi, yes, it's a formality. We will have to close the session today with a promise that the Trailblazer, series continues. And Madhvi anchoring the alumni cell. I'm looking ahead, to more such sessions. Yeah, Madhvi.
Thank you so much.
The lunch is ready.
Yeah, for your kind support, Professor Saloni. So, on the behalf of Alumni Cell of BIMTech, I would like to, thank from the bottom of my heart to all the speakers, and there are some following, takeaways which personally I will be definitely following in my life. Thanks to Harsha ma'am for sharing the 3F mantra, that is freedom, fitness, and fun. Thanks to Professor Smita Kashiramka for sharing with us that hard work cannot be substituted. Be flexible, create an environment for yourself, And thank you, Ekta ma'am. Just don't be shy to, in trying anything new, and just live a balanced life. Thanks to Priyanka ma'am for explaining and for demonstrating that look at the picture, look at the larger picture of the life, and take decisions and make them right, and only you can make it possible. Thanks to Sabha ma'am, just keeping just don't give up attitude in life, irrespective of any circumstances. And thanks to all of you, and my sincere gratitude of thanks to director of BIMTech, that is Dr. Chaturvedi, and special thanks to Professor Saloni Sinha for making this session more and more interesting. And thanks to Professor Gagan Katiyar, the convener of Alumni Cell. And I would also like to thanks to the faculty members who are present here. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the conduit members. Special thanks to Shrishti Puri, who is handling the backup in the operations of this whole event. And without the support of without the support of the conduit members, this event cannot be successfully completed. And thank you so much everyone for making our Sunday full of energy, enthusiasm and positivity. Thanks.